and then skip. The question, the way you do this is, read every problem, read every problem, read or scan, let me see, read or scan every problem, and then what? And it's easy, if easy to you, easy, if easy to you, then skip it. Then go to the next one. Then go to, then skip. Then go, then what? Then skip. That's how it works. So this file right here, which I open, is a 330-page document. You look at this first page, and the first page looks so easy. Yeah, sure, this is easy. But we have 330 pages to go. So what you do is, now I'm going to just, I'm going to just save this. I'm not going to save most of these, and then let me just clear this. And then what you do is you just what? Scroll this down. And then see, that was the first page. Okay, you know this stuff? Now, of course, if you don't know these stuff, that will be a big problem. Then you probably don't belong to this course, right? And then this is page 2. And then now we get multiplying and dividing integers. This is a 330-page document, about, I would say, about 150 pages of this document. It's actually it's arithmetic, elementary algebra, and intermediate algebra. And then about the last 60% is actually pre-calculus. Now, in this course, you don't need to know everything, absolute everything, but you do need to know most of the topics. Most of the material you should know, or you should study them very quickly. Within 2 days. You don't have that much time. Okay, so don't say it's easy, but just go through, and then when you come to a certain point, you will now get into problems which you don't know or which is not too easy for you. Then that's the place where you start studying. So like here is 9 times 6. Okay, multiplying, dividing integers. You look at the topics here. Okay, so and then here it explains here and through. Oh, this is what? Still easy. Okay, easy, still easy. Now, well, can you do these kind of problems here? So you know what? These kind of problems I can give you now on the quiz or anywhere. Okay, but if you're stuck, then make sure that you do them. But when you skip it, make sure you skip something you already know for sure. Don't skip anything which you don't know. So the rule is you read and scan every problem, and then if you think it's easy, then go to the next one. You don't just automatically skip everything. And please, don't just do every odd and even. No, there's no rule here. You have to read and scan every problem. Is that clear? And if this looks so easy to you, then you can go to the next chapter. But make sure that you know everything perfectly. Is that clear? Because this is a 330-page document. You cannot go through every problem, and you should not do every single problem. That's what it is. The whole point is I'm letting you know where you stand. Again, I'm sure that some of you will get stuck at page 50, and some of you will get stuck at page 250. So it's very different. Every one of you is different here. And then these are topics, variables, and so on. And there's so much stuff here. And what I want you to do is tonight, I want you to, after the courses, after the lecture is over, I want you to go everything and cover the entire 300 pages. Is that clear? It's too much? It is too much, I know. But you have to study as much as possible. And of course, this is what? This is page 9 now, it says. But again, I told you this is a 330 pages document. Okay, so at some point, all of you will get stuck somewhere, because this document covers all the topics from arithmetic and algebra, elementary algebra, intermediate algebra, and then some geometry and sets and everything. And then this is on page 18. And I'm sure this is still too easy. Like I said, about the first 100 pages, it covers up to intermediate algebra. And then pre-calculus is the last 200 pages, about 150 pages or so, or 200 pages. So I want you to go through everything. And then if you look at this here, what is this? Yeah, sample of sets, and the union of sets and the subsets and all this. It's all here. But again, most of the stuff, I assume that it should be easy to you, but not all of you. Some of you will have a problem here, like inequality and so in absolute value, Okay, it's not obvious here. So I guess I have to wait a little bit because this is it takes some time to upload. It's I don't know where we are. This is page 18. This is no, this is actually page 158. There we go. Okay, so again, all the top, and of course, one of the question I always get in our class is this: on our notes, there are no answers. Okay, so the question is, do I have any answers to these note problems on our notes? And the answer is no. So in this class, what I'm saying is, you have to get used to problems where you do not have any answers. And why is that? Because when you take a test, there are no answers. So what does that mean then? What does that mean to you? What I mean by that is, at this level, now you're taking calculus 1. I think all of you should be at the point where you should solve a problem and check your answers on your own. Is that clear? So I will go over some of the stuff, and you should be able to find the answers on your own. On your own. So, for example, let's say, well, let me, how about this? Okay, so this is page 158, and I think this page 18 is, what is this? I think I can put in a page number. Let me see. If I put in a page number like 202, so let's see, 202, does it go to that page? I think, oh, wait a minute, 1 second. Oh, no, it doesn't do that. You know, the page is kind of messed up here. I don't know what page. It's not move and go to next page here. You know what? I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know how to flip that. I think it's because it is a big document here. That's why it's kind of slow. Okay. So anyway, you know, I think that's good enough. Okay. So anyway, make sure that you go through this big file here and try to learn as much as possible, starting from page 1. Again, most of the stuff should be easy to you, but when you go through pre-calculus, it will not be obvious. So this is dependent on every one of you. Some of you know a lot, and some of you don't. And hopefully, ideally, you want to know almost everything. But I am focused on topics which you should really know for this course. And all of these things, you know, this is math. Sooner or later, you need them. You need them. Okay. Okay, so now what I would like to do is, let's say, for example, now what I'm going to do is this. Let's say on the last quiz, okay, so new share. So let's say whiteboard here. Okay, let's say we have this. Let's say what was, now quiz 1. By the way, for quiz 1, I don't have a separate answer key. So, you know, usually for later quizzes and tests, I will post the answers. And sometimes answers with solutions, or sometimes just answers. And on quiz 1, I'm not going to post the answers because you know, basically all of you got it right. Several of you, some people did not get this. But anyway, try to do this again. So because most of you got it right, I'm not going to post the answer for this one. But quiz 1, let me just do this right now. So this is this right here. And then quiz 1, and then quiz 1. And then what is this here? Quiz 1, what was the question? The question was, let me write it out. Okay, so the answer was, okay, so here was this. What was the question? The quiz 1, well, this is quiz 1, and then this is what? Problem 1. Question 1. Question 1, what was the problem? The question was this. A is the point 0, 2, and B is the point what? B is the point 6, 0. And then now find the perpendicular bisector of AB. So that was the problem, right? Okay. Now, most of you got this problem, okay? But here, I would like to basically go through as to how you check how you check your answers. So here, this is A, 0, 2, and this is 6, 0. And so let's see. Okay, so in this case, what do you do? So here's the solution. Again, all of you did it correct. Most of you did it correctly. And of course, everybody, you know, some of you did it slightly differently, but that's okay. So in this case, first, why don't we find the midpoint? So midpoint. What is the midpoint? Midpoint of AB, what is that equal to? So let me put this in parentheses here. midpoint of AB. And midpoint of AB is equal to now this is equal to now the x coordinates is what? 0 plus 6. So let me write 6 over 2. It's going to be this. Let me see this. This is actually 0 plus 2. 0 plus 6. What am I saying? A lot of typo here. Okay, 0 plus 6 over 2, and then comma, and then what? The y coordinate is actually 2 comma 0. Is 2 comma 0. 2 plus 0 plus 0 over 2. So now this, I'm not going to explain too much here, because all of you know that the midpoint of a segment or midterm of 2 points is what? Is to find the midpoint of the 2 points, you just take the average of each coordinate. So the x coordinate of the midpoint will be the average x value of both points, and the y coordinate of the midpoint will be the average of the y values of the 2 points. The average of the y coordinates. So therefore, if you take the average, then now what do we get? This is going to be 3 comma 1. Yeah. So this one, almost all of you got it. And then you find the slope. Then slope here, and what do you get? You get 0 minus 2. So that will be 0 minus 2, like this, and then over, and then what? Over and then 6 minus 0. 6 minus 0. 6 minus 0. And so when you do that, what is that equal to? You know what? I did recommend that not use any slash marks. So you know what? When you're writing this manually, you should write, have this right here. So this is going to be 0 minus 2. And 0 minus 2 over 6 minus 0. So when you do this here, you get this. And when you simplify this, what is this equal to? This is going to be minus 1/3. So therefore, the perpendicular bisector, should have slope is equal to what? Is equal to 3. So that the product is equal to -1. So anyway, so we get this. So therefore, what is the line now? Therefore, what is the line? Therefore, line which the line should have Therefore, let me write 1 line with slope is equal to 3, and the point 3 comma 1. Without this. Okay, so again, mostly we got this right. So you know what? You don't have to take any notes or anything. Almost all of you got it right here. Now use a slope point form. Therefore what? Therefore the line equation is going to be this y minus 1 equal to 3 times x minus 3.
This is a very early access look at the game. It would be in private. I'm not affiliated with the game developers of this in any way.
Wait, what is
it gives us a bit of an early access look at what is to come.
I think someone's on
Let's jump into this sequence. This introduction sequence is absolutely beautiful. It's
okay. Fast, I just muted everybody here. Sorry, I muted everybody. So if you want to speak to me, and please speak to me if you have any question. And if you have any question in the middle, I do want you to interrupt me and ask me questions at that time. Again, my lectures will be interruptible anytime, anywhere. All right? So don't wait until the end. If you have any question, let me know, or just speak to me. Just interrupt me. That's okay. That is not interrupting my lecture. Let me point this out. In this class, it's not impolite. Again, generally, when somebody's talking and you talk in the middle, he tries to cut me off, and that's called impolite, right? Yes. In this class, that rule will not be applied. So therefore, when I'm teaching and then you have a question, interrupt me. Is that clear? And that is acceptable in this class. So generally, I'm not going to follow that rule. In this class, I teach and you have a question, interrupt me immediately. Is that clear? So that you will get your questions answered right there. So again, my lectures are interruptible. Speak to me, and I will not consider as impolite. That's fine. I want you to interrupt me and ask me questions at that time. I'm going to mute everybody. If you want to speak to me, please unmute yourself and then ask me. All right? And then I'll give you a chance to speak. So here,
Professor?
Yes.
I have a question, but it's about the test. On when you were grading it, you left email your responses to me, and so I sent you a new email with my test questions.
Okay, then I will have to look that up later.
All right, thank you.
But can I respond to that right now?
All right.
So I'll try to look up your email maybe after the session's over today. Okay.
All right,
and
thank
then
you.
I'll respond to your question.
Perfect.
Okay. So here is the question. Okay. So now if you give me the answer in this form, this is called a slope point form. I will accept. Okay. So in this class, so let me write this class. In this class, I will accept slope-intercept form, and I will also accept slope point form. And I also accept the other forms too, which is namely the standard form and intercept form, which many of you don't know. That's okay. If you don't know, then so you don't need to use it. But I do accept, reasonable simplified form. Namely, if you give me the answer in this form and leave it this way, I will take that. So this will be acceptable. And now most of you, of course, you gave me the slope-intercept form, and so the slope-intercept form, when you simplify this, what you get y for 3x and what minus 8. And then there's the answer right there. So in this case, the answer would be this. This is the answer. And most of you got it right. And of course, if you give me this answer here and leave it that way, and you don't simplify this equation, then that will also be acceptable as well. Now that this is pre-calculus, if you just, this is calculus, if you just give me the line equation in slope point form, I will accept. Is that clear? So you don't have to spend that extra 5 seconds to simplify this to slope point form. Now the question is, you got this answer and you got this answer. How do you check? What is the best way to check? What is
Plug
the best
in
way
the
to
variables
check?
that you have.
What?
Plug in the variables that you have and make sure they all line up.
Yeah, but the question is, what points do we have? So look at this here. Now the question is, how do you check? How do you check? How to check it? Well, in this case, now note that this is a line problem, and this is also a geometry problem too. It's a graphical problem. When you have these graphical problems here, you can actually check by what? Check by graph. And by the way, I did tell you that the graphing calculator has a limited use because I don't use decimal. But let me tell you this. Graphing calculator is a very good tool to check your work, mainly these kind of graphical problems. So this is part of the algebra, part of geometry. Now in this case, there's really not much to check because the midpoint is 3,1 and the slope is 3, and there's really not much to make a mistake here. And so if you choose not to check, it's okay. But I want you to check, and how to check. In this case, one way to check is, there's many ways to check different kinds of problems. In this case, the way we would check it is, how about this? How about just check it like this? Like this here, check the graph. Check the graph, and the point is 0,2. This is the point, 2 here, and then 0,2. And that 6,0 is over here. The 6,0 is over here, and it's this. And then you can see that the segment is going to be like this. That's the segment AB. So that's segment AB. This is A, and this is B. And then now, what is this line y for 3x minus 8? Y for 3x minus 8, it should pass this point right here. And then the slope is 3, and the y-intercept is 0, negative 8. So it looks like the line is going to be something of this sort. And looks like this is what? This is minus 8. So this is what? This is a minus 8 right here. This one is minus 8. I put the number minus 8, but this point right here, that point is actually 0, minus 8. That again, that point is 0, minus 8. Although we just put minus 8 there. And then note that this point right here, the midpoint we found was 3, 1. So the first thing you want to check is 3, 1. And now, first of all, when you check this graphically, you draw these graphs here and then see whether it makes sense. Does it make sense? Does this line look like it is perpendicular to you? And then you can check. How about you can check what? What do you check? Check. You can check check 3, 1. How to check 3, 1? You get 3 is equal to, and then plug in x equals 3, 1. Yeah, check x, y is equal to 1, so 1 is equal to, and then what? X equals 3. So that would be 3 times 3, and then what? Minus 8. Is that what? Correct? Well, let's see. If we simplify this, what do you get? We get 1 is equal to, and 1 is equal to, and then what? And 1 is equal to actually 1. So that's a check mark. Yes. It checks. You know what? Let me just go to the file here. How about if I go to Decimal? This is usually my website. Okay, so we have this here. So let's look at this. So we have what? We have this here. Let me go to the graphing calculator. You know, there are a lot of graphing upside. Y equals what? 3x and then minus 8. That's the line right there. And where were the points? Where were the 2 given points? The 2 given points were over here, 0, 2. So let me write this down. Where's the point? So am I sharing this right here? No, I'm not sharing. I'm sharing. Let me share this. Sharing the decimals.com here. And then now, let me see, annotate. Okay, so let's look at this. 0 plus 2 is here. And 6, 0 is here. And then let me now connect. Okay, so does it look like the 2 lines are perpendicular? What do you think? Does it look like they're perpendicular? Do they look like this perpendicular bisector is does it look like a perpendicular bisector?
Yes.
To the 2 point?
Yes,
Yes, it looks. It looks that way. And so it's correct. So that's how you check it. So for all, there are not that many ways to check, but for every kind of problem, there is some way to check. There is usually some way to check. Now in this problem, like I said, it's relatively simple. I mean, there's really not much to check. The slope, the product of the 2 slopes must be -1, and it has to pass the midpoint. And so, that's it. And also, when you find the midpoint is 3, 1 is right here. It should look right. So if you make a mistake, you should know that something is wrong. So again, in this class, I know many of these problems here. I will kind of go through how you should check, and that is also one of the problem too. So from now on, what you do is when you do a problem, at the end, after you get the answer or the solution, I want you to know how to check. And if you don't know how to check, ask me that question as well. Is that clear? So checking the answer at the end will also be part of the problem. Now, in this course, let me go back to Let me go back to the whiteboard, and I'm going to say this. So this is it. Okay. So this is it. So let me just Okay. So let me write in the bottom here. In this class, on quizzes or tests, question is, do you have to check your check, or we have to say, sometimes we say verify your answers. Do you have to record the checking required? What do you think? In this class, after you do every problem, are you required to check? Is that part of grading or not? What do you think?
No, it's not. necessary,
Which is not
it's good to make sure that you check to see if you've got any mistakes.
right. In this case, the answer is no. So let me tell you this. I just want to make this very clear. So checking your answers is not required. So if you check, that's good, but that's not part of the point. If you answer the question correctly and you get it right and you have all the procedure correct, it's enough work and you have the right answer, you get full credit. Then the question arises here, then why do you check? Why do you check? Well, like you said, that's exactly the reason. Then the question is, why do you check? Why? Because in this case, let me tell you this. Mistakes in this class have a unfairly high penalty. Let me say this. Unfairly high penalty. And unfairly high penalty or penalty deductions. Sometimes I call them deductions or penalty. So if I see a mistake on let's say a point is 10 problems, and then if I see a mistake, let's say here, the slope is, let's say, for example, the slope here is negative 1/3. But let's say you made a mistake. Instead of writing negative 1/3, you wrote, let's say, -3. So that's a mistake. And then once you make that mistake, the whole thing will be wrong now. Now, if you make that mistake, how many points penalty would that be? Well, let me tell you. Generally, if on a 10-point problem, if you make those kind of mistakes, the penalty could be anywhere between like 3 points to 10 points. But if you make a mistake on this, if you make a mistake on slopes like this, which is critical, on a line problem, if you make a mistake on slope, then the whole thing, the rest of it becomes all junk. So this could be like a 8-point penalty. So out of a 10-point problem, you make a mistake here, you got the slope here, and then you got this. There might be 8-point penalty. But in this case, however, if you do this and then write -3, then and if you actually get this part right, I am willing to give you maybe at least my 5 points, and this would be a 5-point penalty. So again, mistakes in this course, mistakes in this class, have an unfairly high penalty. Unfairly high penalty. Is that clear? So this is the reason why you have to check your work in this class. And then what kind of mistakes would that be? Mistakes include all kinds of silly mistakes. Not copying, incorrect copies, or omitting something, or minus sign mistakes, parentheses. Any kind of mistake will be a penalty, and generally, even if it's a tiny penalty, I take 3 points off, 5 points off very quickly, and some critical mistakes will be 10 points off. And then the entire problem goes up here. So let me just remind you, in this class, the mistakes, any kind of mistakes, any kind, again, miscopy or anything, will have an unfairly high penalty, at least from your point of view. Again, I am trying to be fair, but penalties tend to be quite big. Again, I don't take a 1 point or 2 points. I take up 5 points. I take up 8 points. Okay? So I just want to let you know. The more complicated the problem is, the penalty will be less. But if I give you a question like this, question 1 on quiz 1, this is a relatively easy question. You know what? For these kind of questions, if I see one mistake, it's 10 points off. That's it. I'm sorry to say, okay? But I don't have too much mercy when it comes to these kind of problems here. Again, a question like question 1, I see one mistake anywhere. Another problem here. How about this? Let me do this, say, and then this is do this. So let's say square of 2, and then plus 1. This is actually a problem which I put on one of the quiz or tests in our pre-calculus class. And so I could actually give you this kind of problem. Let's see, this one here. I could give you this problem on this class too. Today is what? Today, this is calculus 1. This is day 2. On today's quiz, I might actually give you this problem right here. This square of 2. You know what? I think I do have the right to give you anything like this. This problem is actually about 2 courses behind now. This is intermediate algebra, or even elementary algebra. So if you see a problem like this, don't tell me, that I didn't cover this, okay? This is well below our course level. So let's say we have a problem like this. How do you do this? Well, this is going to be what? This is going to be square root of 2, and then plus 1, and then plus 1, and then times what? And then square root of 2, square root of 2, and then plus 1. And then here, and then square root of 2, and then plus 1. Okay, so we can write it this way. Note, let me write this here. This is an important note. Note that this Q, they'll note that this is square root of square root of 2